Hello, YouTube, and we back one more again. Nothing to it but to do it. And today I'm excited because we're going to talk about bad credit. Yes, not credit, because all credit ain't bad credit. We're talking about bad credit. And what I want to tell you about the bad credit is this. First of all, let me start off with the definition of bad credit. Okay, the definition of bad credit is your inability to pay your bills in a timely manner or to pay your bills at all, which results in a bad credit score. As a matter of fact, not only does it give an indication of you failing to pay your bills on time, but it also gives an indication that in the future, you're going to have the inability to pay your bills on time, thus affecting your credit score. So, now that we round that out, what does having a bad credit score do for you? If you have a bad credit, what that's going to do is it's going to reflect on your credit score. It's going to create borrowing problems for you, meaning you have to pay a higher interest rate for the money that you borrow, or you may not be able to get a loan at all. And in some cases, it may even affect your employment. Yeah, sometimes you might not be able to get a job because of your credit rating. Okay, so I want to talk to you guys in layman's terms. Okay, now let me start this off by saying I am not a financial advisor. Okay, I am not. I'm not a professional. What I'm doing is telling you about my experience and what I know from a layman's term, because this is how I know how to speak to you guys. Okay, if you don't understand what I'm telling you or you need more help, go find a financial advisor. But I'm trying to give you just the basic definitions of what these things are, so you can understand how I found my financial freedom and give you a little bit of knowledge on your journey to becoming financially independent. Okay, so let me break this down to tell you about the three things that you need to know and the three reasons of why you have bad credit. Starting with number one, and that is the agencies. Okay, a lot of times you think by not paying your bill on time or by not paying your bill at all, you're getting away with something. Because after all, if the people call you enough times, you can just not answer the phone. Or you can really tell them, hey, don't call me anymore. And by law, they are not allowed to keep harassing you. You think you've gotten away with something, but you really haven't. Because what happens is every time you pay a bill, whether you pay it on time or you don't pay it on time, it gets reported to all three of these credit agencies: Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. I call them the Three Musketeers because it's all for one and one for all. Okay? If one has a bad credit score of you, the other two are going to have it as well. If one have a good credit score, you better believe the other two have a credit score as well. Okay? And the thing about it is, when they get these credit scores are based on every single time you make a payment or you don't make a payment on time. Okay? Now, this credit score is comprised of 5 different things with different weights on each one of these things. One is your payment history. 35% of your score is based on your payment history. So if you have a history of paying bad, your score, I guarantee, is going to be low. I don't care about the rest of it. This is going to hit you the most. Okay? If you have a payment history of good payment, that's going to be a good credit score. So that being said, your payment history is the most important part of your score when you're dealing with these three agencies. Number two, 30% is the amount that is owed. Okay? The more you owe of money that is owed, as far as in debt or in credit, guess what? That's going to affect your credit score. Unless you have a huge amount of money. If you ain't got a big salary or something like that, and you owe a lot of money, trust me, that's going to affect your credit score. Okay? Number three, the length of history. The number of years you've been having credit is going to affect your credit score. Now, here's the caveat to that. If your credit score is low and you're 18 and 19 years old, don't be surprised by that. You literally haven't had any credit to build. So 18, 19, 20, 21, you're going to have a low length of history. So your credit score is not going to be real nice until you start to establish that. Okay? Unless, unfortunately, you grew up in a poor family and they put credit in the baby name and you were the baby. Okay? that happens. I'm sorry, folks, that happened. If that happened, your length of history is going to be a number of years, probably 10 to 12 years, and it's not going to be good, and you're going to have a bad credit score. So that length of history of bad credit is going to affect your credit score by 15%. Now, number 4, credit type. Now, you might say credit type. That's why I tell you, all credit ain't bad credit. It could be, depending on how you use it, but here are the different types of credit. You could have credit card. You could have car loan credit. You can have credit on at places like Home Depot, where you go in to get stuff and you pay stuff on credit, furniture, any type of stuff like that. Any type of credit type, even rent or mortgage. Those types of credit types are accumulated and they actually score them at 10% of your overall score for your credit rating. And then 10% is new credit. When you get a new credit card or you buy a new car or something like that, that is 10% of your credit. So you see, that's not a lot of your credit. Still affects it. But the main thing you need to pay attention to is that payment history and the total owed. Those two guys make up 65% of your credit score. So understand that when you're getting your credit. Now, number 2, the thing to look at with your bad credit, and that is your debt to credit ratio. Now, you might say, what is debt to credit ratio? I'm going to break this down to you in layman's terms. Like I said, I'm talking to my people, okay? Those are the people who are poor and are trying to understand all these terminologies so you can get a handle on your finances. Here's what I mean by debt to credit ratio, okay? Let's say that you go out and you get a credit card, and that credit card is for $1,000, okay? So that first month, you go up and you get $100 worth of stuff, right? And after that $100 worth of stuff, you pay $10 down on it, right? So you pay $10 down on it. Now, that gives you a total of $990 that is owed now on that credit card, right? Because you paid 10 out of that. You borrowed 100, you paid 10 on it. So you now owe $990. Good debt to credit ratio on it, right? Because at this time right now, I'm sorry. Let me back that up. So you had 1,000, you took 100 out, you paid 10 down on it. Now you owe $90 on that credit card. Okay, it's late, folks. So that $90, that's a good debt to credit ratio. Okay, because you owe basically less than 10% of the money is in debt to the amount of credit you have. Now let's say the next month you go out and you do $400 worth, right? And then you go in and you go and pay another $10 down, right? So now you have went in now and went from $90 of debt to $480 worth of debt. So you see what you did there? You went in, you had $90, okay? You went and did another $400, that was $490, but you only paid down 10 more dollars. So that got you to have $480 of debt that you have. You now have moved your debt to credit ratio from less than 10% to almost 50%. That is going to affect your credit rating. And if you're only paying that minimum payment of $10, and let's say you go out and borrow some more money, that is going to cause your debt to credit ratio to go up even higher. You need to keep that debt to credit ratio as low as possible. That's why if you have a credit card, you should pay that credit card off every single month. So that credit card debt to ratio is always going to be at 0 debt to credit ratio. Okay? During the month, it is going to be, let's say if you did $400 worth of credit during that month, and you got that $400 credit card bill, when you pay that off, they're going to see that 40% debt to credit ratio went automatically down to 0 the next month. That is going to make your credit card, your credit rating soar. if you pay that credit card off every month. So understand that part. Now, that being said, okay, your debt to credit ratio is going to always fluctuate, but you always want them to see that your debt is always going down. So let's say you get a car. After you got this credit card, you get a car for $12,000. Now, obviously, you're not going to be able to pay that car off the very next month. But if they see that the principal on that car is going down, 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 that is going to help your credit score. As long as that debt is going down and you're grabbing more of the credit ratio there, that is going to help your credit card. Okay? But if you have a high debt to credit ratio, dude, bad credit. Because they're going to say, how is this person going to be able to get themselves out of trouble if something happens and they already have gotten $480 and now they got to pull out another $600? You can't, because you've already maxed out your credit. Okay, so understand that is why if you have a high limit on your credit cards and you have maxed out that limit, that's why your credit score is going down. Okay. Number 3 indicator of the bad credit is the credit fix agencies. If these people are calling you or you're calling them, that is an indicator of bad credit. Okay. Now let me tell you guys this: do not use a credit fix agency. Now I know you might be saying, "What you talking about, Willis?" I'm gonna tell you what I'm talking about. The credit fix agencies are gonna charge you money to do what you can do yourself. Okay. So knowing that, if you're paying them money, that's money you could be paying on a credit card, on a furniture bill, or some type of credit that you need to be paying on. You could be paying that yourself. Because let me tell you what you can do. You can call the credit card company yourself and talk to them. Maybe y'all can work out a deal or something. You can call the car dealership. Maybe you can work out a deal. Maybe you can work out for lower payments. They can work with you. A lot of companies will try to work with you. Okay? So go that route first. The other thing, that if you have something bad written in your credit report, let me tell you what you can do, folks. When you're dealing with Equifax, TransUnion, or Experian, by law, they have to at least once a year allow you access to your credit report. It is normally more than once a year. What I would advise you to do is to log in, go to Google and Google Equifax, TransUnion, or Experian, and they'll tell you right then, see your credit score. You can click on how to get your credit score for free. Here's what you can do in that credit score area. You can add comments to certain bills that have bad credit reviews on them or bad credit scores on them. And based on what you put in there, if it's true, that might affect how your credit score is looked at. Okay? So understand that you have avenues available to you that these credit fix agencies are going to use too. Look, don't be lazy, folks. You got to educate yourself on how to do this so you don't wind up throwing away money to these agencies that you can be using to pay down your credit to get you a lower debt to credit ratio. Okay? But these credit fix agencies, they're there because you have bad credit. Okay? So understanding that, these 3 things are the main things that are going to be contributing to your bad credit. Your FICO score, which if your FICO score is 600 or below, bad credit. And like I told you before, you can get that credit report for free. So understand that. Look at your credit score. After you get done with this episode, go online, find your credit score. Okay? There's a creditkarma.com as well that will let you get your credit score for free. Look at your credit score. That'll let you know where you are and what you need to do to get your credit score up. Okay? Now, all is not lost in that. If you're sitting there and you have bad credit, all is not lost, because there's some things you can do, folks. Now, what I'm about to tell you is going to sound weird, but it is absolutely true. Here's how you can help your credit score. Number 1, a secured credit card. Now, you might be saying, a secured credit card? What is that? What kind of thing is that? Let me tell you how a secured credit card works. This is going to sound crazy, but it's true. You go to a credit card company and you say, look, I want a secured credit card. They're going to say, for how much? You say, I want a secured credit card for $1,000. They're going to say, well, give me $1,000. What? What is it? Hey, listen to me. They're going to tell you, give them $1,000. They're going to put that $1,000 into an account. And then they're going to give you a credit card with a credit limit of $1,000. Okay? Now, why are they doing that? You're building your credit, but they're also protecting themselves by securing that credit card. So whenever you go in and you take that money out, they're not worried about you not paying your bill because you've already given them $1,000 against that credit card. So what you want to do is spend about a year or two putting stuff on that credit card, paying that credit card off on time. Putting stuff on that credit card, paying that credit card off on time. These guys don't care that it's secured. All they care about is that you're paying your bills on time and that your credit debt to credit ratio is good. Okay? That is going to help your credit rating. Another thing you can do is a secured loan. What is a secured loan? Same thing, guys. You go to a bank, you tell them, I want a secured loan. They're going to say for how much? You say $5,000. Guess what they're going to ask for? $5,000. Give it to them, folks. And guess what they're going to do? With the secured credit card and secured loan, they're going to charge you interest. Now, I know you're going to say, man, that don't make no sense. I can keep that money myself. Listen, that's how the United States of America consumer world wants you to think. I'm telling you, don't think that way. You're trying to build your credit. So in order to get your credit from bad credit to good credit, you need to do these things. Once these are done, you ain't got to do them again, but you got to get yourself back in the good credit rating area. So you take that loan out, okay, and then every month you pay what they tell you your payments need to be to pay off that loan. When you pay off that loan, guess what? That secured loan that you done got now, you now have a good credit rating. And when you have given them that $5,000 and they give you that $5,000 to pay that loan, here's what I would do if I was you. I would give them that $5,000, take that secured loan out, okay? And I'll get that secured loan out for a year and a half, okay? And I would take that $5,000 that they gave me and I go put that in a bank account. And every month I'll go get $500 out and put it toward that $500 toward that loan. Put it toward that loan. In 10 to 12 months, I done paid off that. Now, it's going to cost me a little bit over interest rates. But here's where your credit goes up. If you're able to do that, you're able to show those people you have discipline and you are responsible for paying your payments on time, and your credit score will go up. The third thing you can do is get a cosigner. Now, a cosigner is a person that has good credit, and by co-signing with them, they are guaranteeing that this bill is going to get paid on time. Because guess what? If you don't pay it, guess where the people are going to come? They're going to come after them. Now, let me talk to all the co-signers out there. Now, this is going to sound like a contradiction, but do not co-sign for people with bad credit. Now, I know the bad people credit say, how are you going to say that when you just said I need to get a co-signer? Look, I'm keeping it real, okay? If you know a person has bad credit and you're going to co-sign for them, you're taking a risk. Here are the times when I think that it is okay to co-sign. If you have a teenager or you have a young adult and they're trying to get a new car or something and you raise them, you know they're dependable, you know they're responsible, you have seen them do that, then co-sign for your child, okay? I co-sign for my 2 kids to get their cars, okay? They know daddy don't play, okay? You better make them payments on time. So I didn't worry about that, okay? They needed to get their credit established. I helped them do that because I knew they were responsible, I knew they were disciplined, and I knew they were going to do the right thing. Likewise, if you got a wife or a husband and y'all love each other like that and they got bad credit, but you've seen how they're making the changes and they're doing the right things they need to do to get their credit line, okay, go ahead and make a co-sign. Like I said, hold your horses and hold your carriage. I ain't trying to ruin your marriage. If that's what you need to do for y'all to have y'all love and happiness and everything and stuff, then go ahead and do that. But be very careful if you're a person with good credit, co-signing with a person with bad credit. Now, on the other side of the coin, if you have bad credit and you're able to talk someone into or convince someone with good credit to co-sign with you, please, please, please pay your bills on time. Do not put that co-signer in a position where they got to pay your bills. Because all you're doing now is getting right back into the situation that you had before. You think you're getting away with something by pushing that bill off on a friend or a relative. Don't do that. That being said, it all boils down to this, folks. Bad credit is caused by three things. One, the agencies getting all your payments, all your amount owed, the length in history, your credit type, and your new credit, and giving you a FICO score. And normally, if that FICO score is 600 or below, guess what? You have a bad credit score. Your debt to credit ratio being too high, low credit score. Credit fix agencies calling you, or you calling them? Bad credit. Okay? So understand that we got to get out of the mentality of thinking we're getting away with something by not paying our bills on time. Okay? Because the United States of America, understand this, they're not cheering for you. You could think that this country's cheering for. It is not. We are a consumer type economy. Okay? We're a capitalist society. And everything pushed at you is going to be telling you buy, worry about how you're going to pay for it later. Look at our government right now, how much we owe. We spend more than we take in every year. So guess what? They're basically telling you this is how the country is ran. Get off of that hamster wheel. You got to turn yourself around so you're not sitting there in your older age wondering how you're going to make it and all you're getting is Social Security. Do not do it, folks. And you can start that by getting rid of this bad credit. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did, give me a thumbs up, like it. I hope you guys can subscribe. I'm trying to build this channel, and hopefully we can get together and learn how to get ourselves out of this financial rat race and get ourselves on the track to financial independence. Once again, thank you guys for watching. And if you want to get rid of that bad credit, ain't nothing to it but to do it.